It's your boy AT here, and we back again with another video. Okay, y'all. So I know it's been a while since I did another video. I know I said that during Christmas break I was gonna do another video, and so I originally I didn't know what I really wanted to do. I was gonna do some reaction videos for y'all, but but I didn't end up doing it. And so I'm gonna do a video, probably like another reaction video really soon, because um if I don't, um I'll be starting school very soon. And so I want to make sure that um I get this out of the way first, so that way it doesn't interfere with what I'm doing. Okay. So so for this video, y'all can see in the title down there that this video is gonna be about, bodybuilding. You know what I'm saying? Bodybuilding as a whole. And yeah. And so I have a clip, that I'm gonna play of a guy talking about, bodybuilding and how pull-ups, come to play. And so this brother, he talks a little bit about, you know, about one of, I don't know, a men's physique competitor doing, pull-ups. And I want to play that clip, and I'll tell y'all, what I'm saying? I'll tell y'all, and I got this from Instagram, by the way, in case y'all wondering. So I'm gonna play that clip, and then once I play that clip, I'm going to also add the link so y'all can also review it as well. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what he said, and I'm gonna talk about the half truths and half lies. Okay. All right.
Okay, so I'm not a fan of bodybuilding. Personally, I do not consider it to be a sport, but today I'm going to show you guys something that very few people have ever accomplished. Okay, so a few months ago, the big homie Ishmael Sanford, aka the Black Superman, traveled all the way from Richmond, Virginia to Laurel, Maryland to compete in his very first bodybuilding competition where he placed first. It is also very important to note that this was a drug-free bodybuilding competition. Later that day, he traveled all the way to Baltimore, adding another hour to his already 3-hour commute to compete in the Baltimore UFL Pro Launch, where he placed first in both muscle-up and pull-up bar knockout competitions. And the fact that he went up against other elite competitors while dehydrated shows the fact that he has a reserve tank that most people do not have. This is also a demonstration of years of consistency, discipline, and determination. Make sure y'all give my man a follow, tap in with him for more updates on when the next time.
As y'all heard what he said in the video, part of what he said is true. You know what I'm saying? Part of it, however, isn't. So I'm gonna go over what he said in the video as far as, bodybuilding goes. And bodybuilding isn't for everyone. You know what I'm saying? It isn't. And I can agree with that. You know what I'm saying? I can, agree with that. Some people have different goals set on what they really want to do. And so some people, they want to, they want to go out there and compete in things, that is actually functional for their body. You know what I'm saying? Such as, I don't know, football, basketball, any other sport. But, and I completely get it. But to sit there and say that bodybuilding isn't a sport, that's kind of true, but it kind of isn't at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell y'all why in a minute. So I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so the reason why bodybuilding isn't a sport, and I'm gonna go off why it isn't and then why it is in a minute. But the reason why bodybuilding isn't a sport is because, for one, and I'm basing it off of what other people, how other people may look at it. And and the way other people may look at bodybuilding is that, and this is basically what it is. You know what I'm saying? Bodybuilding as a whole, is a patent. It's a body patent, competition. It's a body patent competition where you have men that are competing that are showing, both, they're showing their muscles. And so every man is coming on the stage to show, each other's physique, and the judges is basically rating the physique. The whole purpose of bodybuilding as a whole is to see, who has the biggest muscle and who looks the best, and who's the most, who has the most, proportions in their body. You know what I'm saying? And so that's all I really wanted to say when it came to, bodybuilding as a whole. You know what I'm saying? And two, you know what I'm saying, when we talk about, bodybuilding, it's kind of like modeling in a way. You know how they do modeling competitions and stuff? That's how bodybuilding is though, because you have to pose, while you're up there. And so bodybuilders have to know certain poses. And in a way, I like to think of it like as it being modeling in a way. So you're basically modeling and showing people what you achieve through your through lifting up weights and training. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why it's not necessarily a sport. It's more so of a modeling competition that's used to patent your body. So it's a patent body competition. And so when you go up there, you know what I'm saying, you flex pretty much. You flex your physique and you do poses. You know what I'm saying? So you do the double bicep pose, you do, the side chest pose, you do all that. And so, you have to know different types of, poses so that, the basically the judges can pretty much, rate how you look. You know what I'm saying? Side by side other men who are around the same size as you, if not bigger than you. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what, is kind of, gone down to. So now when we talk about, and and that's why people don't look at it as a sport. And I completely understand that. I completely understand how people may think that it's not a sport. But when we talk about the other side of things, when we talk about the weightlifting aspects of it, it is a sport. And I'm in some regard, and I'm gonna explain why. So the reason why it's a sport, as I said before, is because you're lifting up weights. You know what I'm saying? And so, you're lifting up weights, and you're basically training your body. You're training your body to the ultimate failure. So the same way, and I know with me, when I experience lifting up weights, when I train all the way to failure, it feels like, and I used to feel this all the time when I would run in track. I would feel my legs burn. The same way I have to keep on pushing myself beyond the limits, it's the same way I have to continue squatting. You know what I'm saying? It feels the exact same to me, at least. You know what I'm saying? I feel the burn. And so you have to, go through it, you know what I'm saying, and surpass your limits. And so when I was doing track when I was in high school, my legs would be burning. You know what I'm saying? It would be burning. Like I feel my hamstrings burning every time I would run. I feel my hamstrings, my quads burning when I was doing track. You know what I'm saying? When I was in high school. And so when we talk about, that, and then when we talk about, lifting up weights, though, it feels the exact same. The only difference is you have to balance your body, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to just running really fast and knowing where you're going. That's the difference about, and another thing too is you're not running, you're just squatting the weight though. And so that's the difference between that though. And so with weightlifting, you have to train, you have to succeed your limit. And so in that regard, it's a sport. And what people don't realize is that bodybuilding, if y'all know its origin, I'm gonna explain origin. If you don't, you can go watch my other video. But in this one, I'm gonna explain it again in case y'all haven't seen it, and in case y'all can't find it. So, excuse me. So in case y'all don't know, um, bodybuilding came from strongman and powerlifting. In case y'all don't know. So if you go back from, like, if you look at the olden days, like the 1800s, the 1700s, you know what I'm saying? If you look at, if you look back in the past, how, how it used to be, bodybuilding came from the strongman competitors, and it came from, look at, competitors from back then, a lot of them were training. They were training and lifting up weights. You know what I'm saying? And they were trying to get, a lot of strength in their body. And so when we talk about bodybuilding originated from strongman competitions. It originated from that. And so, it kind of is a sport when we're talking about, bodybuilding as a whole, like the different aspects, because you can't just compete and just look skinny or fat or whatever. You're going to have to train. You're going to have to diet. You're going to have to eat. And you're going to have to be consistent. So for a skinny guy, he would need to eat. He would need to eat double the amount of food that he normally eats. And then later on diet down a little bit so he can be ready for the competition. For a big guy, all he would need to do is he would need to diet down, you know what I'm saying, and just, train the exact same as he normally would do. And so when we talk about that, you know what I'm saying, it's the exact same thing. You know what I'm saying? Athletes do the same things too in order to, for the cardiovascular system to still work. And so when they were, but when we're talking about, powerlifting though, powerlifting is the same thing too. That's a sport. Strongman as well. And so it originated from that, you know what I'm saying? And two, back in the olden days, strongman strong men weren't as big as they were now. I mean years ago, sorry. They weren't as big as they were years ago. You know what I'm saying? And so strongmen during that time period, they did, because I told y'all before in my last video about bodybuilding that strongmen weren't on. They never had steroids back then. Steroids didn't come out until like the 1950s, but they were experimenting on it in the 30s though, the 1930s. And so the strongest form of steroids came in the 50s. And so strong men prior to that, prior to the 30s and 50s, you know what I'm saying, they weren't steroids wasn't around. So strong men were definitely strong. They were lifting up horses, wagons, people, and they were in circuses doing a lot of things then. And so you were competing with other strong men during that time period too. And so bodybuilding originated from that aspects as well. And so that's why it is a sport, because you know what I'm saying, so you have to train all the way to failure. But most times, you know what I'm saying, and I get what people are saying. Well, bodybuilding, it's not about how much you lift, and that's the difference between being a strong man and power lifter than being a bodybuilder. Because when you're a bodybuilder, it's not about how much heavy you can lift. It's about it's about I'm trying to think what I want to say. It's about training to hypertrophy. You know what I'm saying, to build muscle. That's what it is. And so you are training for strength though. You are training for strength though, but you're training to get muscle thickness, if that makes any kind of sense. And so that's what bodybuilders do. They train for hypertrophy so they can get thicker and have more break down muscle fibers in their body so they can build more muscle. And so that's why I don't train as hard as I was before though, because I already train hard at the gym. You know what I'm saying? So when you're training at the gym, you're breaking down the muscle fibers. You know what I'm saying? That takes like a couple of weeks for it to heal. You know what I'm saying? So when you break down the little fibers in your body, you know what I'm saying, your muscles start to heal and grow. You know what I'm saying, as a whole. And so that's what I want to say about that. When you're training for hypertrophy and strength, the muscles are going to grow. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to train, with intensity too, as much as you train with volume, because volume matters, just as much. You know what I'm saying? So they gradually train volume, but it's not like, how they train with. So anyways, that's what I wanted to get off my chest though. So I kind of agree with him, and in that regard too. But when we're talking about bodybuilders doing pull-ups though, that when we talk about that though, that's not a new concept at all. And I'm gonna tell y'all why it's not a new concept. And so the reason why bodybuilders doing pull-ups isn't a new concept is simply because bodybuilders during the silver era and even before then, they were doing pull-ups and chin-ups, and that's how they were able to grow their backs. So when you go back to like the silver era of bodybuilding with, you know, Steve Reeves and Leroy Colbert and Marvin Eder, you know what I'm saying, you would see that both of those men, you know, they were doing pull-ups and stuff. So a lot of them were doing pull-ups, and even interviews with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Franco Colombo, they would tell you in those interviews, and this is like in the golden era, like Arnold and Colombo, they're in the golden era. They're not even with Steve Reeves and all the others, but you know, Arnold and Franco Colombo, they will all talk about you know, doing pull-ups though, because you know, pull-ups were very important because those men were already big though. They already had a lot of size on them. And so too, when you do pull-ups or whatever, that's how you're able to like grow your back muscles. You know what I'm saying? That's how you're able to grow your lat muscles and your back muscles so it can grow. You know what I'm saying? And so they don't talk about that. They don't talk about that at all. So when you talk about bodybuilding as a whole, that's what it does for you. So, you know, they did do pull-ups, and so this is way before the Nautilus machines were even made. So when you're talking about, you know, you know, you know, when you're talking about lat pull downs and stuff like that, lat pull downs, I believe, wasn't made until like the 1960s and 70s. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't made until then though. But if you're talking about, you know, pull-ups and stuff, they've been doing it for a long time though, and that's not a new concept at all. They've been doing it for a for a while, really. They've been doing it for years and decades. And so, you know, that's not something that's new at all. And so, you know, and that's how the V taper was made. The V taper was made in like the 1940s and 50s when, you know, when Leroy Colbert and, you know, and Marvin Eder were coming up in bodybuilding, you know what I'm saying, and Steve Reeves even, you know, those men created the V taper, you know what I'm saying? And so that the V taper look came out in like the 40s and 50s, you know what I'm saying? And so that's not something that's, you know, that's new at all. And if y'all do y'all's history, y'all would know that too as well. And another thing I want to mention is that, you know what I'm saying, and one thing I can say is that yeah, the brother that's doing the pull-ups or whatever and that's doing bodybuilding, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing I can say too. That's really amazing what he's doing. And he's right. You know what I'm saying? Most people in this day and age aren't doing pull-ups. You know what I'm saying? Some people aren't doing, you know, calisthenics, you know, at all. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's not in, you know, what I'm saying is pull-ups isn't an new concept at all. You know what I'm saying? It's an old concept that's happened, and bodybuilders have used pull-ups to build their back muscles. And this is way before they had lat pull downs in the gyms and stuff. This is way before that. And so Arnold was doing it during the time period too, you know what I'm saying, along with all the others. And so when people say that, you know, that this is, you know, this concept is new, it's not. They've been doing it. The reason why bodybuilders now aren't doing it as much is because they have lat pull downs, and that's not really a good excuse to not try and attempt to do pull-ups, but a lot of them tend to lose their mobility when they do pull, you know, when they do end up doing lat pull downs. They forget the importance of doing pull-ups, because pull-ups, like any other exercise, like calisthenics, like any other exercise, is really important because that helps with your mobility and your movement, you know what I'm saying, and your coordination when you and your motion. You know what I'm saying? It helps you have better movement. And so too, and that's the, you know, best testament of having strength as well when you're doing pull-ups. And so that's very, very important to, you know, to incorporate exercises like that. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very important to do exercises, you know, that's more mobility based. Because if you don't, you lose it. You know what I'm saying? You lose your mobility just by doing, weightlifting alone. And so, and this is why I say, man, calisthenics is very important. You know what I'm saying? It's very, very important. You know what I'm saying? And, and I'm doing it as well. I've done it before. You know what I'm saying? I've done push-ups before. Um, and it's very important. Like, knowing how to do it and knowing the fundamentals of how to build muscle, that's important. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't do it, you don't have any type of mobility or any control. And so that's not, a new concept at all. But the thing about it is that, when we talk about, you know, pull-ups or whatever, that's amazing. Like the way that the way he decided to go in after he did, the men's physique competition, that was amazing. You know what I'm saying? The way he's all, that's all I can say about that. All I can say is that it's amazing. And, to see him, go out there and, go out there and do some pull-ups, you know what I'm saying? And so I don't know what to say after that. But yeah, guys, I'm sorry. I had to think about what I wanted to say, but I know exactly what I wanted to say now. So the reason why most people don't think that, other people that, all the other bodybuilders do it is because it's not just because of, of not the lack of doing pull-ups and machines. It was also because, a lot of people just haven't seen it before. And when you grow up with modern bodybuilding, you're gonna see, and you grow up with open bodybuilding, you start to see all the mass monsters and how they look. Those guys, I highly doubted that those guys like Nick Walker and, I don't know, Big Ramby. I highly doubt that those guys do pull ups. You know what I'm saying? Yes, they're bigger men, and so I can understand, people, looking at it. Is it, well? Those guys are big. That means that other bodybuilders don't do pull ups, but that couldn't be further from the truth, man. And so when you grow up and you see all this, when you see all these mass monsters, that you start to think that, that's how bodybuilding is, but that's not how bodybuilding, what originally was. You know what I'm saying? Bodybuilding wasn't originally like that. And so, the idea of, having mobility, that's important, man. And so, you know, and two, man, when you look at modern bodybuilding, you're only looking at the surface level type of stuff, especially open bodybuilding. And this goes back to my video of what I said before. Most people don't know bodybuilding. They think they do, but they don't. You know what I'm saying? They don't know. They only know the surface level, the flatness of it. The only thing they know about it is steroids and weights. That's the only thing they know about it, but nothing else. And that's not true at all. You know what I'm saying? Part of it is true, but there's more to it than just steroids and weights. You know what I'm saying? And so when you look at bodybuilding as a whole, it's just more to it than that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not just steroids and weights. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You have to, you know what I'm saying? And the thing is, just throw steroids out. Just throw it out. You know what I'm saying? Throw steroids out for a second, okay? So when we talk about bodybuilding, it's not just about steroids. It's not just about weights, okay? It's about the way you train. You know what I'm saying? The way you train, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing. So the thing about it is, the reason why a lot of these bodybuilders are big, and I'm gonna let y'all in a secret though, and y'all already know, it's because they train excessively hard though at the gym. You have to be damn near crazy to do what they do. You know what I'm saying? You have to be crazy to do that. And so that's one thing about it. And because not a normal person like me and you, like, obviously I'm gonna get there very soon, but most people, you know what I'm saying, won't even do half the stuff that that they do. You know what I'm saying? And so the reason why they're big is the fact that they not only just train hard, but they eat hard and rest hard. You know what I'm saying? And so you train hard, eat hard, and rest hard. And so what does rest look like? You know what I'm saying? I know people, and what does it look like? I'll tell you what resting looks like. Resting looks like taking a break for like at least a couple of weeks and doing something important, you know what I'm saying, with your life. That's what resting looks like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And also, going to bed, probably earlier, you know what I'm saying? Earlier instead of later, like most people tend to do. Most people go to bed late, later than others, but most people go to bed early. And so, two, you have to think of it like that as well. And so, and another thing I want to mention as well is let's see, eating. So when you eat hard, you have to double up on how much you eat. You know what I'm saying? You can't just eat the normal, meal. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're full, just eat a little bit more and then go to and then after that, you know what I'm saying, do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one thing too, man. And so people don't know this concepts. Most times you have to rest for long periods of time. Not long periods of time, but like at least a couple of days or probably a week or two. You know what I'm saying? And do important stuff in your life. You know what I'm saying? And so when you train hard, you train really hard, you know what I'm saying, at the gym. You train for like weeks and weeks and months, you know what I'm saying? But in the meanwhile, you take a couple of days off, you know what I'm saying? So your muscles can grow, you know what I'm saying, or potentially, a week or two, you know what I'm saying? And so when you train hard, you rest hard. When you eat hard. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how that works, and that's how they're big, you know what I'm saying? And so there's more to it than just, steroids and lifting weights. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, weightlifting is there, but it's not just steroids. There's three things involved with it. You know what I'm saying? You have to train hard and smart. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not just you don't just train hard, just train smart too. You want to train smart as well. So you want to train hard and smart, and you want to rest hard as well. You want to rest hard, and you want to eat hard. You know what I'm saying? And you want to portion size how much you eat a lot of times. Most times I don't. I just I double up on how much food I can eat. You know what I'm saying? Most of the bodybuilders on here tell you that you have to, eat, to measure how much you eat, you know what I'm saying? How much, kilograms of food you need to eat, or but that doesn't matter. Like, I just eat just to eat pretty much, you know what I'm saying? And so that's all I got to say about that. And so but yeah, so that's what bodybuilding is all about, though. I know I said this in my last video about what bodybuilding, what bodybuilding was all about, but but when you're doing all this, it's not just steroids and weights. It's more to it than that. And so people don't understand the complexity of it. And this is why I say bodybuilding is a cube. There's different aspects in bodybuilding. You know what I'm saying? There's different aspects that a person must do if they want to be able to achieve, a greater physique, you know what I'm saying, like that. And so, yes, you have to take steroids. And a thing, too, that I didn't, mention, that I forgot to mention as well, and this has nothing to do with the video as well. Another thing that I forgot to mention as well is most people take steroids a lot of times out of competitions and stuff. They don't need it. Like, I'm gonna be real with you. None of the bodybuilders now, none of the 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 Mr. Olympias and the open physiques, none of them need steroids. They don't. But the reason why they take it is because they want to win. You know what I'm saying? Because and the reason why is because other men are doing it. And if you're just the only oddball that's not taking it, who you think is gonna win? One of the people that's enhanced. That's the hardest part about bodybuilding that I don't like about it. You know what I'm saying? Is that, when you do it the right way or whatever, you still don't get rewarded at all. You know what I'm saying? You don't get rewarded at all. People who use steroids, they get rewarded for for taking steroids. You know what I'm saying? And for and you know, and the thing is, man, bodybuilding is a very difficult thing to get into. It's very difficult, and it's very difficult to win um medals and stuff. And so, you know, it's just hard. And so it's not just steroids and weights. It's more to it than that. You have to rest and recover and eat. You know what I'm saying? And so rest, recover is one thing you gotta do. You have to recover really hard and eat really hard. You know what I'm saying? And so it does, you know, and the calories, you know, and calories too is really important as well though. And so and I'm gonna say this again. I never said it in my last video, but I'm gonna say it now. I don't know why I'm gonna say it why I said that I was gonna say it again. But anyways, um what I wanna say is that if you're somebody that's, you know, that's small, that has small limbs or whatever, you know what I'm saying, you can eat as much as you want. You know what I'm saying? If you're a skinny guy or whatever, you can eat as much as you want. And you can eat whatever you want pretty much, you know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna just burn it off anyway. But if you're a person that's already big and already has muscle or already, or you're just fat in general, you don't really need to eat a whole bunch of unhealthy carbs. You don't really need to eat all of that. So all you really would need to do is you would need to just eat healthy carbs because you're already big already. So, you know, you just replace the unhealthy carbs that you ate before with carbs that's good for your body. So your body can still get big, but also get lean. And so, yeah, man. And so that's what I want to say about this. You know what I'm saying? Is that it's not just the steroids, you know what I'm saying, in all this. But what this guy was saying though, and you know, it was somewhat true, man. You know, it's you know, it's not something that you could, you know, that most people, you know, are that some people are fans of. Not most, but some people are fans of. But other people are fans of it as well, man. And so, you know, and even though I'm a fan of bodybuilding as well, I'm still lifting weights though. You know what I'm saying? I'm still bulking, guys. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for this video. But yeah, guys, you know, if y'all like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll do more, you know, videos like this in the future about bodybuilding. But yeah, peace.